What? All right. Thank you for joining us as we do the Cthulhu and Cairo review. Episodes is 42 through 44. Is that right? 42, 43, 44. Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Excellent, excellent. Joining me is Amanda. Melinda should be jumping in with us in just a bit. But yeah, we are reviewing those episodes. Great end up in the Italian campaign, part of the campaign in episode 4. I'll keep want to call it the Italian job. But yeah, the 42. I loved how he injected that sense of realism in it when like Rachel's dad's like, "Yeah, you're going home.
Oh yeah.
You're
Face that.
going, yeah, you're going home, young lady."
Yeah.
I was like, you've been shot, and blah 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, 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 these aren't your friends. Your friends don't get you killed. you know? Yeah, I mean, I was like, man, I could feel myself being like scolded by my parents after a late night out. That's almost how I felt. I was like, wow, this is almost too real.
Yeah, I had figured that Raz was going to give Faye a little bit of a break after, like, what he did to her in Germany. I thought maybe, like, he killed her sister, she's taking a hell of a beating. But no, he just,
No, it's like the whipping child.
yeah.
Apparently, I guess not only am I shotting you full of homes, but yeah, shot you full of holes. But yeah, you're coming home, lady. I don't want to hear no guff. Yeah.
I
So
love,
that's.
I loved the Sid playing her husband. And
Hmm.
I know that I've said this before in other episodes, but I always forget, well, not always forget, but I frequently forget the time frame
Hmm.
it's set in and how, a woman could say, I'm not going home, I'm not doing this, but an assertive male is what it takes to get the doctor to listen. And you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's just, it, again, like,
That's what it was. Yeah, like yeah, yeah. You don't get to decide. Me and the doctor are going to talk about what's best for you, young lady. Yeah.
uh-huh. And
I mean,
then
that's what it was. Yeah,
it's
exactly. It
and
sucks.
And when Sid comes in and says, "Oh, I'm her fiance," then suddenly his opinion is also valid too.
Hmm. Hmm.
He suddenly has a voice, but her voice is still.
Yeah, which is great. Because yeah, they're using the system. To work with to work to get what they needed done. Honestly, stole an idea from one of my favorite shows I'm watching now. Andor, are you watching that?
No.
Oh my God, there's this speech that's. I mean, Stellan Skarsgård is amazing. We're getting way off topic, but Stellan Skarsgård is amazing anyway. But somebody asks him, what he sacrifices to get the rebellion done, because this is like the very birth of the rebellion. Like
Uh,
they're just forming, and he's like one of the people who is moving behind the scenes and getting people where they need to be. And he goes through this huge long dialogue, which is amazing. He's like, I burn my body so others can see the sunrise. And uh, he's like, I use the weapons of my enemy, to get what I need done, something to that effect. And it's kind of like what's being played right here. Yeah, it's like, uh, it is very sexist, and it's what it is, but they're like, okay, we can play on your
right,
rules and
right.
still win.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know
What's that on?
Andor, it's on Disney Plus. Oh,
Oh,
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's if you watched Rogue One,
yes.
if you liked Rogue One, you'll love Andor. It's super duper
Uh,
super duper good. But yeah, we're getting away from the Cairo podcast. Hey Melinda, how you doing?
Hi, Melinda.
Hi, I'm here. Oh, Amanda,
Amazing.
I feel like I should give you my hot tea here through the screen.
Exactly. But no, we were just discussing, you know, the end of the Italian campaign in episode 41, and how it was a great scene where, like, her daddy's like, no, you're coming home with me, you know. you've had enough of these. These people aren't your friends. They're trying to get you killed. Or it's almost like when your mom asks you, well, they're going to jump off the bridge. Are you going to jump off too? That's seriously how I
Oh,
felt.
it is.
That's totally
Like,
how I felt. When I was listening to this, I'm like, damn, mom.
You're coming home.
I'm gonna go play D&D with my friends.
I remember two lines, and they're both Sid's. She's a grown woman, not a poodle,
Yeah.
and she's a sassy woman.
Yeah, yeah. And then what Amanda was talking to us about is how, like her opinions didn't matter in the hospital, and it took, you know, her all of a sudden having a fiance to get her voice out there, and what they wanted to matter, because of the time, her opinion did not matter. Her treatment of care, where she was going to go, anything like it. I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't care if you just killed 10 people yesterday. You're still a young lady,
right.
and you're coming with us. Law says, you're chattel. You know, and wow, it's amazing. Yeah, it's I mean, women are still fighting for suffrage at this time.
Right.
You know, So yeah, depending on where you're at in the world, I mean, they're much more forward in Europe at this time than they were in the United States.
but still, yeah.
Oddly enough, yeah. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, super great episode of that where they're wrapping up the campaign, and then we have like the smoothest of transitions to where we go to the house in episode 43, where we end up at Aleister Crowley's house, and I was like, wait, did I miss the show? Did
I,
something
I, I, only, I
happen?
don't mind time jumps. I really don't. I didn't need to listen to them play out phase recovery. But there were a few things all of a sudden I would have appreciated hearing.
Yeah, like her telling dad off finally, and something like that, or how they got the information to where Aleister Crowley's place was. I guess they just yelp it. What thing? Wait, what?
It sounds like they played it out. They just
Yeah,
didn't include it in the recording.
probably.
And
And again, probably one of those unfortunate audio loss issues, which is
it
it
could
happens
be.
when you're doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, the smoothest of transitions, but they're there. They're there, and
I,
we're dealing with it. So like,
I
cool.
feel like we started 15 minutes too far in.
Yeah, might have
I
been
would
something
have
like
liked
that.
to have backed up about 15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. I was like, I mean, that's what I felt like too. I just kept looking at my little arrow. I'm like, no, no, it's at the beginning. Yeah. You know.
Sorry, Raz, but we're
Here,
reviewing, so we got to be honest.
here we are. But yeah, but no, it was good stuff. I mean, it was,
Oh my God, that
yeah,
episode.
it was super good episode. Yeah, when they're in there and dealing with all this stuff, and I mean, yeah, I like how he played up Aleister Crowley's pad, and how it was
Oh,
done, because this guy was not a nice guy. I mean, um, and I don't think he was playing him as a ghost. At first, I was like, is he playing him as a ghost? Because he's not dead yet. He didn't
no.
he didn't die till like 47. And I was like, okay, maybe he's astral projecting himself, because that was big back then. I was like, I think that's probably what he's doing. He's sending some kind of message, because it seemed like, because he said it was his house, so they're in his house. I don't think he ever said who it was. He said there's this man.
No, it's
Yeah,
Crowley.
yeah, yeah.
He makes it quite clear at one point that it's Crowley.
Okay, and but yeah, I'm like, I don't think it's his ghost. I think he's like astral projecting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It seemed like he was very present.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I had the weirdest mental image for every time he had him talking. I could see, and I can't quite remember. I think maybe it's Sleeping Beauty. The mirror. There's the face in the mirror, and
yeah,
it's kind of greenish.
yeah,
Except that in this case, it's Raz's face, but it's got that green tinge to it, and it looks.
yeah. Oh, yeah, with like the shadow, and like get the masters
Yeah,
coming.
it was very,
Yeah,
very sinister looking, and
and
it
that
just it
voice was
fits the
amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
really well
And
done. It's very creepy.
actually, I thought 42 and 4, no, 43 and 44 are both incredibly acted by the cast.
Yeah, they definitely, even though they're not physically doing a lot, they're verbally and planning wise getting a lot happening.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot does happen in the house. Yeah, I mean, we
And that
lose.
includes Raz in that because the voice
Yeah,
acting was
top
wow.
notch, top notch. It was creepy. I was like, I'm legitimately scared.
I,
This is super creepy.
I think it's
It
the
was
creepiest
definitely
creepiest
like
episode.
it's definitely creepy.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely played up like everything's old and abandoned and
And then
rotted mushrooms
me,
and
was that her name? Faye's mom.
his mom. Yeah,
Yeah, like she was so creepy.
yeah,
Creepy.
yeah. Is it really is it her spirit or is this a manifestation of somebody else using that? Yeah, very
This was
creepy.
creepier than the scene with the magic well.
Yeah,
And
it's right up there. Yeah, 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 it's right up
I think it was, and it was
there.
creepier, I think, than them wandering around, the aisle with the plague victims and the dead. This for me,
Yeah,
this was. It's just
it's
every so I keep my top spot for the best episode just keeps getting replaced.
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're
And
definitely
this one's
getting
right
better.
there.
Yeah, they're definitely getting better as they go along. I mean, way they're playing it out, and I love how Cat. And I mean, it was played more in episode 42 than in this one, where Catherine's like, still playing the, I'm the normal guy, and this stuff is all bullshit. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is, what the hell? It's like, you want to store this stuff away from us? Fine, get it as far away from me as you possibly can. First, he's like, no, I don't want it out of my sight. I fought hard for it. But then he's like, oh, yeah, yeah, you want to get it away? Okay. Because somebody might kill us for it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would have been a great scene when they're deciding what to do with the items they've got so far in 42. Would have been
yeah,
a great scene for all of a sudden someone to have become a double crosser. I'm glad it didn't
double
happen,
agent. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
but
yeah. No,
uh,
I expect Schoolie any minute to be like, and run off with
hi
the stuff.
guys.
Well,
I
that's the thing.
totally expect that from Schoolie.
It
He
hinted
knows too
at that
much.
they would use the items, right? Like
Yeah,
I anticipate that that will be Schoolie that uses
yeah.
items.
Yeah, I mean, he has to know how. He does know how to do some spells. I mean, if anybody would or could, it definitely would be him. And depending on how much sanity he loses, I mean, that may still play out. He lost a lot this in 43 with all the stuff going on in the house. It was creepy as hell, and he had to draw the protective circle and
Uh,
stuff, and yeah, yeah, a lot of wild stuff happening in that one. We lost Rachel's dad. Oh, too bad. But I guess we settled that argument
Face.
then. Yeah, face that. Yeah, we settled that argument about whether she was staying or going. Oh, the house ate you. Oh well, I guess we just. I
Well,
guess we've chosen then. Yeah.
you
No,
wanted to know.
I'll I'll cash in that ticket for you, Dad. Thanks. But oh my God, that was horrific too. I mean, that was
Yeah.
bad. I mean, he was.
Psychologically, that was just, as
It
a
was like.
listener, that was a horrific episode.
Yeah, and he's talking about basically it's like it's a floor shark. It's basically what it is. The floor turned into a shark, and just with the jaws just eating him up. That was bad, bad deal. Yeah, and then after it was over, it looked like he was just kind of phased into it, like the floor re-solidified, and
Yeah.
he was phased into, which is cool. It's one of my favorite gimmicks to do in a horror game is to phase someone because you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no going back and from that.
It's kind of
We're done. Yeah,
it's kind of what happens with a misdone teleport spell.
yeah, we're done. Yeah, exactly. So well done. And then yeah, he was describing what was going on upstairs, with Aveline and stuff like that. Because I don't think Aveline was able to play
I don't.
No.
that episode, so he was playing out, the gunfire and the cursing and stuff going on upstairs, while Potty Mouth Faye was was describing was describing the rest of the action down below.
He did a pretty good job
Yeah.
playing for Aveline upstairs too.
Yeah, yeah. It was legit.
I remember. I remember at one point in the first episode 40. I guess it would be 42. That Aveline starts to say the F word and like censors herself, and she's
Mhm.
like, "I thought you
that
would
was
come
it was
out."
Aveline. It was
And
Abilene. Yeah, yeah.
Expletive,
like I kept
expletive,
listening.
expletive.
No.
Expletive, expletive.
Yeah.
That was great. That needs to be on a T-shirt. Well, he expletive, expletive. Dot dot dot.
Was great.
It needs to be on a shirt somewhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
expletive, expletive.
Very, very good stuff. Absolutely. Um, yeah. Does anybody got anything to say about that before we move on to 44? Because 44 was a long episode, but I mean, it was more of like a setup to
It
what they're
was so
going in
much
Kathmandu.
fun, though.
But it was a lot of fun. It was
Yeah,
a break.
my word for this of our episodes of the review is whiplash,
Yeah.
because we went from 43 in that horrific house
Yeah.
to drinking contests in Nepal.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great what are you doing on your downtime episode, because like they spent like the first 15, 20 minutes like, okay, so you've been working out, you've been you've been reading books, blah 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 blah. So they're doing a good job of explaining the downtime between the scenes
Hmm.
of where they actually arrived to Kathmandu, because it's not like we're in Kathmandu. It's like 3 weeks later we're in Kathmandu. But so yeah, so there's definitely downtime for them to practice on stuff and do things and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, it is for me because I feel like because I'm such a Johnny Quest fan. It felt like an opening scene to Johnny Quest, while like they're in some strange place, and they're getting to meet the locals, and shenanigans happens, like Johnny and Haji can get into something, yeah,
So in
and
this case, it'd be Catherine and
it was Catherine and Aveline, wasn't it?
I think it was Faye.
Oh yeah, Faye. Yeah, I'm sorry, I
yeah.
keep getting the two of them mixed up. Yeah, Captain Faye. Yeah, yeah, doing a drinking contest, so that was great.
Oh my gosh, that drinking! I just
Yeah, I mean a classic D&D scene brought into a Call of Cthulhu game.
and it was that was some of the best acting I've seen out of him
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
playing drunk is
Hmm.
its own unique challenge. And you know what? I totally believed that especially Sid and Catherine were as drunk as their characters had gotten.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was it was so much fun.
yeah,
It was very, and it was nice. Again, Raz is so good, and the players too are so good at giving you that comedic relief that you need
hmm,
to come off of such a heavy episode as the previous one, to kind of give you a minute to collect yourself and regroup. Kind
yeah,
of.
yeah,
I still want to see a Catherine. What was his name? Pacho
yeah. What the,
rematch.
Shoot, I cannot remember his
the
name.
it
After
was
she
he
was
was one of the
cheated.
people. He was in the bar. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
It
want
was
to see a rematch.
he wasn't a Sherpa though, was he? Was he a Sherpa or a guide,
Yeah,
or
he was one
he
of
he was
was.
the
a Sherpa?
Sherpas.
He was their main guide's like second in command. Kind of
Yeah,
is the impression that I got. I don't.
yeah.
And Catherine totally should have been able to take him. I'm sorry, the dice cheated her. She
Well,
should have won that drinking contest.
sometimes you don't need to roll the dice. Sometimes you just need to BS it enough to know, this is who I am. Sometimes you do. I mean, there's the new game that I'm running now, and it's taught me to do that. Twilight 2000.
Mm.
It's a super good game that Free League's putting out, and it's taught me do not leave it up to a dice roll if you can talk it out,
Hmm.
because the dice roll will betray you. No matter how well you planned it out, and stuff like that. And Twilight 2000, much like Call of Cthulhu, is so grim.
Oh.
You get shot in Twilight 2000, you're either dead or gonna be, or
I,
out of action for weeks.
I,
Not just a day or two, but weeks. I mean, I shot somebody in the kneecap. He was like hobbled along for like, yeah, it's like 5 weeks. And we're like, holy crap. I'm like, yeah, well, shoot somebody in kneecap. They're not going to be doing too good, you know.
But
So
I
yeah,
learned some of that this past at some of the convention games this past year.
yeah, yeah.
Just
If you
talk, ignore the dice roll. Don't even roll the dice.
yeah,
Just
I mean, there's times, for combat and stuff like that, you got to throw down the dice and stuff like that. But yeah, outside of combat, or it's something that they can prepare for, they can do something around.
yeah.
let him talk it out. Yeah, yeah. Catherine learned that. That's a better lesson. This one it was hard because it's like one drink done, boom, done, out, gone.
That
Yeah,
was Faye. Catherine made it at least to the
uh,
third
oh
drink.
yeah, yeah,
Good,
yeah.
but she does. I think in a previous episode, she says she's not a big drinker.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah,
So really, like that really does play with probably where her character would have actually been.
yeah.
Yeah. But she wanted to have fun, dang it. She did.
He did. She's trying to mix it up with the guys, and that was fun. That's absolutely cool. Very, very cool.
Naked in the middle of the
Yeah,
street
right in the street.
where they prize modesty in women. She's like, it's hot.
Yeah, in Nepal. Yeah, nice.
See what you're missing?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm singing "I'm a Little Teapot" or something like that. That's awesome.
Bruno has said in our Facebook messages that Crowley was astral projecting. You were right.
That's what I figured it was. I mean, yeah, because at the very first I was like, this isn't his ghost. He's not dead. you know, so yeah, I was like, I know Raz does plenty of research going into these games that he knew that. So I was like, okay, this is he's astral projecting, which was big on what they did in the Dawn. I mean, there's famous astral projection battles between him and like Yates. you know, they'd be like looking at each other in a restaurant, and everybody be like, "What's going on?" And they had a full-on battle in their heads. For supremacy of the Dawn. you know, So yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, super fun, laid back episode. Again, reminded me of like an early episode of like Johnny Quest, where they're kind of setting the scene. Some good exposition of what Nepal was about, what they could do in Nepal, what they can get away with in Nepal. It does favor them. This is a fairly low tech, kind of a backwater kind of a place. So if you're gonna hide out. There's worse places.
Yeah.
There might be a telegraph office here, and that they might not even have phones in that town. That's an ask. Yeah.
I think all three of these episodes were just really solid.
Very entertaining.
Exactly. Yeah. Very, very entertaining. Yeah, but much more. Yeah, I think it was honestly, from my interpretation, from listening to all three of them, the sum of the three of them together made it outstanding. Because the first one was fun because of the whole standing up to dad kind of thing. That was kind of cool, and then 43 just a pure shock horror value, and then the light exposition of 44. But yeah, when you put them all together, you got a really nice 3-layer cake. So very, very well done.
You don't even need icing.
No icing.
It's a really good cake.
Yeah, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry.
And here is in 42, Schoolie gets his backside handed to him on a platter a little bit as he's trying to do some magic.
Oh yeah, well, that happens too. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, when he was doing the trying to do the ward on the objects, and one of them honestly had, I think he said it was the curtain. They find out later it was the flag.
Yeah.
That had some kind of scry thing on it, which surprised me. And I surprised Schoolie too, because he would have sworn it would have been the book, like the vampire put like a spider tracer or something on it. I would have, if I was a betting man and I had to bet, I would have bet on the book.
Well, yeah, they kind of, when they had the rendezvous at the end with Sophia, when they came back to present time.
Yeah.
She kind of alluded that there was something in the book, you know what I mean? That would have definitely made me pin my bet on that also.
Yeah. Welcome back, Melinda. Yeah, what we're talking about, like what you're saying, was where Schoolie put the ward on the objects, and I would have gambled any day that it would have been the book that had the wiggity woo on it, and not the flag. you know. So you're muted. You're muted. You got your slash on your microphone.
I bumped something.
You're fine. You're good. Thank you.
The flag made sense though when you thought about it, because of what happened in Germany, and I've forgotten Mueller.
Yeah.
I could totally see that flag having something on it already that they were. It was probably something being scried or
Now,
whatever.
yeah. Now that you mention it, it
And
makes sense too because he was in the place when they grabbed the flag. Could he have done something
yeah,
already?
and there was the grave dust curse or whatever on Faye, which
Yeah.
lifted after was it after the cottage?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it made sense once I found out.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, because they did encounter him right when they were grabbing the flag.
But
So
yeah,
did
I before that
yeah.
I put money on the book.
Yeah, any amount of money. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for calling me back to that because I
Right.
completely forgot
I
about Miller doing that. Yeah. Lots of stuff wheels happen. A lot of wheels going on in this. Yeah. Lots of stuff happening.
I'm worried for Nepal though because I know
I
bad things, really
yeah,
bad things
I
happen in Nepal.
spoilers, and I'm just not super interested in listening to these experiences.
Based on what you know from Poltergeist, or
Yeah. Um
yeah.
and something I actually learned in my previous game today with Raz and the guy that plays Schooly.
Hmm.
He mentioned something, and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
And don't you dare tell us because
Oh,
I'm already
no, I'm tight-lipped. I'm trying to keep the spoilers to a minimum.
Sounds good. Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, unless anybody else has anything to say, I think that's a good place to stop, and we will talk about episodes 45 through 48
Sounds great.
in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
and folks, if you want to be entertained and horrified at the same time, you need
Yeah,
to listen to these three
yeah,
episodes.
Yeah.
super good stuff. I mean, it's. I mean, I've said it several times, and I'll say it again. It is some of the best stuff out there. Right up there. I mean,
And
you
it's
know,
getting better.
it's getting better every episode. They're getting much more practice, much more polished every episode. So yeah, definitely you can see the progression. Um, Super good stuff. I am so happy to be hosting them as part of Lurking Fears at Origins. I mean, we're going to have a great time. We're going to do a live stream there.
I can't.
Uh, that's going to be amazing. Amanda, you should come.
Oh,
You
we're
should come
coming.
check it. Excellent.
I've already told my husband. I'm like, I'm going with or without you. So
Ooh,
or
ooh. I mean, it's not
you.
that far. It's 3 hours. It's not
No,
that bad.
I'll bring my son. I don't.
The
Nice.
live
Well,
stream is Friday.
yeah, it's gonna be Friday night. It's gonna be Friday. I think we're shooting for 7 or 8. I think like 7. But
I think 7 because
yeah,
I wanted
yeah,
to make sure I had it free.
yeah. So with special guest Seth Skrakowski
Fantastic.
will be there as part of the group. I don't know how they're going to get him in there, but they'll figure a way. Uh, Seth's
It'll be
good for
great.
jumping in that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, we're getting the biggest hall they got. We want to fill it up full of people and have a great time.
I'm excited.
Very excited for it. It's gonna be very cool. But yeah, group, keep listening, man. It just keeps getting better from here on out.
Yeah.
Look forward to talking with you guys soon about episodes 45 through 48. Thank you all so much for sitting with me and discussing this episode.
Take care, guys.